Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with the 5th video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for Code Vein. Technically video 3 and 4 are in the same area, but due to me and my limited software for editing and uploading and all of that, yes, I know I didn't want to pull an Elden Ring again and have a video longer than an hour. It's just me personally. So I just decided to split them up and have their own, that way it would also save time on the upload schedule. So both 3 and 4 are out at the same time. But from here, if you actually come back, and like I said in the last video or in video 3, if you come to Io, she will then let you see a memory and restore one of her memories or vestiges. I recommend only doing one, as that won't fully alter anything in the game just yet. But if you also talk to Io, you will then get the ability to not only get her as a partner, but you will then also get her blood code. Now I also recommend actually switching her out as your partner, as she will then make a much better candidate than Louis does in the long run. So from here, once you are ready to go, I'm going to show you where to travel to. Because I'm sure as of now you're like, okay, I know of 2 possible doors to go to, but not entirely sure where to go. So if we go back to the cathedral, it's not going to be the gated room, but instead it's actually the inner tower. So from here, as I'm sure you're aware, you can now access and interact with this door. In here you'll find a unique purple missile, which will teleport you to a whole new area. So once you spawn in, you'll now be in the Ridge of Frozen Souls. Like always, I'm now going to show you guys how to get through the area and collect everything that is necessary. Or not necessary, I just like to be a completionist. As always, if you follow the path that I take, this will help you get all of the items in the area, as well as showing you how to get the items. But the path is pretty straightforward from here. As we head up, we'll eventually encounter our first new enemy of the area, and there's an item right here. Now if we turn around and come up the way, there will be an ambush on our right of 2 dogs, and then an item against this wall. Now up here you will also encounter a new enemy who will like to throw bombs and explosives at you. So do be careful. If you come off over here, you can follow this path that I take.
What are you doing?
Come down here and grab your next Fion vestige. And then dropping down again, you can grab another freezing cartridge. I do believe the item that I missed up there is a queen steel or some kind of consumable. But moving on, you will then follow this path around, and you'll be able to grab a item right here, Beyond Chrome. That is also a very common thing that is dropped in this area. Up here you will have your first mapping of the area, as well as you'll get your next region activation factor, thus once again increasing your overall amount of healing that you can do. So continuing on this path, we're going to head up and we're going to continue on.
Heading there now.
Now up here, just at the other side of this truck, will be an item to grab. It's more clean steel. Now do be careful in this area, as there are some holes that will fall and are instant death traps. But right here you will find your hedgehog fort, a new blood veil. Then if we continue following the path, pick up a enemy drop, and then find some more items to grab. Now from here, if you just continue up straight, do be careful of the left side. You'll find your next vestige.
We found something valuable today.
Then we head back down, head into this little area here. Following this path, you'll find the next missile that you can activate. This will give you mapping, of course, for the area. Then we can pick up some organic soap, and then if we follow this all the way around,
I'll be there soon.
we can grab the stamp icon 1. Not entirely sure what those are used for, but you never know. Now from here, instead of heading straight, we're actually going to come here and head down. Now coming down this way, there's only one thing we're going to grab while we're down here, and then we're going to end up heading back up. Following this path, once you get to the T, take the left side, and then follow this all the way over here. You'll find your next mapping, and then another vestige. Like I said, from here we're now just gonna head back up the way we came.
I'll be there soon.
And then from here we're gonna take that path that I said we're gonna hold on for. Following this path up is pretty straightforward. In this small little alcove is some antifreeze tonic. Once you get up here, you can find some awake. And then, if you turn around, you'll find that there's this chest tucked away in the corner. The Garnet Splitter. +5. And as you'll see, that is the new enemy of the area. Pretty strong. But continuing on up, as you'll see that there's not much that you're going to miss. Once you get to this spot, there is a triggered cutscene that you can't skip, of course. And then you will have your next missile. So, from this missile, if you follow the path that I take, this will lead you to getting all of the items in this next area. Now, this area has 3 different paths you can go down, but basically one of them is the actual path, as the rest have the pseudo fallen ice death traps that you can possibly fall into. First item you can find is right here on the left path. Now coming into the middle path, once you get down to this area here, there is a very tough enemy. You'll encounter him a couple of times in this area. I highly recommend being very aggressive and constantly attacking him and spamming your abilities to make sure he doesn't buff, because if he happens to buff, then basically he will take less damage and start doing more damage, meaning you're going to burn through your healing and items like that very quickly. Now once you grab that vestige, we can now head on to the far right path. Grab our next item, follow this path around to another item, grab some 35mm reel, and then just continue following this path along the way. Find some more Pheon Chrome that will add, and I guess boost ice defense or damage, I assume. Now over here you'll find your next item, some more awake, which is used in getting abilities and things from codes, which I'm not entirely sure exactly how it works. I'm not sure I found the way of doing that just yet, and I haven't researched it. But if you continue on, you'll find some more Queen Steel. And if you come back over here, you'll find a Lost Shard large. Now, this is another area where you'll find that enemy who is very tough. But after you defeat him and come back here, you'll find the Winter Mantle +5. Now, following this path to this back area here, you will find your next missile, which will be the main one, and then you'll find this ladder shortcut that I highly recommend that you kick down. Now from here, if we actually backtrack, this would be the easiest way of understanding how the map flows. But following this path, we'll then head down and into the ice cave. Along the path, there'll be a bunch of those spiked enemies that like to roll at you. Here you'll find some pungent cheese. Who doesn't like pungent cheese? But along the way you'll see where the ladder gets kicked down, showing you the shortcut. Following this path around, you'll find more items. And in here, in this back area where the chest is, you'll find an enemy who will give you mapping once defeated, and you'll find a machete +5. Or as I should say, machete. But continuing on, you'll see the main path right here on the left, right next to the ladder. Now up here, if you actually turn around immediately, you'll then find this item tucked away back here. And then following this path around to the side, you'll then find your last mapping of the area. Then over here you'll find an item, some queen steel. And then you'll find some antifreeze as the last item of the area. Like before, you will need to talk and speak with Celine and restore all of the vestiges before going in and fighting our next boss. I highly recommend doing that, as it will once again go towards getting the good ending, which is what we're trying to do on our first playthrough, because that's more or less the ending for 100%ing the game. So yeah, once you have gone through and restored both of the vestiges, I don't know why I was going to say messages, but you'll finally be able to enter the arena. There'll be some cutscenes, of course, as always, that I'll skip. But from here, you want to have your next fight against the successor of the breath. Alright, sorry about not commenting during most of that fight. But once you are done, you will get the successor of the breath trophy. Alright, and just like before, you want to restore the memory instead of just walking out the door.
I can't believe it!
This, like I said before, is also necessary for achieving the good ending of the game. Afterwards, you will unlock the Fion blood code right here. You will then have a brand new missile, and what you're supposed to do from here is actually travel back to home base. There will be some cutscenes and some things like that, but you'll have to do it in order to trigger it. After the cutscenes are all said and done, you basically just want to come over, and we're going to teleport back to the cathedral. And this time we're actually going to go to that first door that you probably come across in the cathedral. at the gated room. So from here, if you follow the path that I take, as you can see, you can go through here. Now, originally, if you tried to come here first after unlocking the ability to go through those doors, there is a second door down below after this elevator ride that's actually blocking you from continuing. But because of the chain of command or how things go in the game, you now have access and the door is opened. After the elevator ride, there's probably always going to be a white cloud of mist blocking your path, letting you know the game is loading. There we go. As you'll see, the door is open. Originally, the door is locked and you can't open it no matter what. Like always, I'm going to show you guys how to go through the area and all that good jazz. As always, following the path that I take will lead you on getting all of the vestiges and things in the area. So if you come to this left path, you will be able to grab the Artemis Vestige Part C. This is related to Mia's code. And then if you come here onto this right path, there is going to be a cutscene between you and Jack. Now from here, we're also going to take this left path and follow this around. And we'll be able to grab this stamp icon too. Now from here we'll just follow the path like normal. There'll be 2 more items to grab, some fireproof tonic, some venom vaccine. Now from here you have a bunch of ways that you can go. I recommend just coming down here to the left, following this path around.
Sorry.
Grabbing your next vestige, the Artemis Vestige Part A. Then once you're back outside, you can then just follow this path around. It's pretty straightforward. Grab this Queen Steel over here, swing around, grab this next item here, and then following this path around, you can grab this Awake MJ212. And then up here, you can grab this item. Some condensed lost shards. Now from here, I actually recommend going to the right and following this path around. This will get you more items. And then if you drop down here, and on the left, you will find your next Artemis vestige. And then if you follow this around, as you'll see, you'll get mapping, and once again, another vestige, but this time for the survivor. Now we'll just drop back down and continue on the main path. Following this around, you'll enter this open cavern. You'll have this condensed lost shard, medium quality. You'll then also have this Queen Steel. And in here, if you take a right, you'll immediately find a chest containing a huge hammer +6 for any of you hammer enthusiasts. And then right here, you'll find another lost shard, followed by a dagger. And then over here in this corner, you'll find another Awake. Now if you follow this left path up here, follow it around, this will eventually lead you to your next missile. Now from here you can drop down, come over here and grab this Queen Steel, or camouflage, I'm not sure. An enemy died right on top of it, of course. And then you'll follow this path around right here. And in this area you will find some region extension factor. Like always, this is just going to increase the number of times that you can heal yourself, which is always nice. Then from here you're going to enter this nice open cavern area. Alright, so from here, coming right across, you'll find your next Survivor Vestige Part A. Along this right path here, you'll find a couple of items in a chest. Some more queen steel, of course, like always. Some powerful spices. Hopefully they're good. But following this along, you'll eventually find your chest right here, which has a warped blade +6. You'll find some awake. Now we can head back and head onto the main path. Following this path along, as you'll see, pretty straightforward for the most part. Coming here over to the left is where you'll find your missile, right here. Coming back here, you'll find that there's this door that you'll eventually go through, and you'll find the Artemis Vestige Part B. Now from here, if we continue along the path, heading back towards the missile, of course, you'll find a condensed lost shard M, and then turning back, doing a 180, you will then find another chest with the Black Blood Liberator Blood Veil +6. Coming across from here, you'll find some aged brandy, and then coming over here, you will find the Survivor Blood Code. Now from here, if you actually follow this path, and instead of going to our right, we're going to come back here over to the left. Following this along will lead us to the Survivor Vestige C. Then from here, we will now have our actual boss fight of the area. So from here, you will now have your next boss fight, the Gilded Hunter. He's a pretty tough boss, but he can be staggered fairly easily. Dodging is also going to be very key to this boss. Once he enters phase 2, you want to be a little bit more hesitant with your attack. You can still do normal damage to him, but he now enters a more powerful phase. Whenever he throws his hand in the air like that, do be careful as he is doing a blood charge. And then some blood will fall onto the ground. Do note he will exit out of his enraged, and that's your best chance to take him out and deal a consistent amount of damage. Upon defeating him, you'll get the Gilded Hunter trophy. You'll enter a cutscene and a memory. So once everything is said and done, you will get the Dark Knight Blood Code as well as a vestige for the Dark Knight, and then you will also get a dog tag, or dog tags as I should say. Now from here we're basically just going to run to the previous area and use the dog tags to open up that door that was locked over here. As you'll see, like so. Now we're going to head to the next area. This is a straightforward path, and there's absolutely nothing that you'll get along the way. So like all of these main paths, there's a bit of choppiness to it as the game loads and unloads things.
Maybe something up above.
But eventually heading up, we will be close to the new area. As you'll see right here,
Do you smell something burning?
the City of Falling Flame. But that is going to be where this video will end. Like I said, if I can, I'll try and keep it to 2 bosses a video.
How do you like exploring?
As always, this has been Mr. Pilgrim. I do hope that these videos are at least helpful, informative, or at least a guide of some way, shape, or form. But as always, I will see you all in the next one.